It's kind of hard for Meghan to say that the UK is a racist country when the leader of the UK is darker skinned than her and the mayor of London is darker skinned than her. And I am a person who's probably darker skinned than her, and I've never experienced any kind of bigotry against myself besides the fact I'm a straight male. I'll get bigotry for that before I'll get bigotry for my skin color. She has attacked an age-old institution, and there are people who are very patriotic about that institution. And by attacking it and bringing a degree of distaste to it, there's gonna be people who don't like her.
Great to have you here. People are so terrified when talking about Harry and Meghan because they're worried that they're going to be accused of racism.
It's absolutely unacceptable.
What about the issue of race? And I mentioned that in the context of the Harry and Meghan ongoing debate, their war with the royal family, war against the monarchy.
Believing in a colourblind world, and that's what I was told at school, that we shouldn't actually obsess about someone's race. Now, if you sign up to that philosophy, you're described as being racist. And it feels to me like Meghan has really utilised.
Andrew Tate didn't walk into the Meghan Markle debate. He launched a full-scale attack. No filters, no apologies, just a flamethrower of brutal opinions aimed straight at the Duchess of Sussex and the man formerly known as Prince Harry. While the world tiptoes around Meghan, terrified of being branded a racist, Tate dove in headfirst, mocking the narrative, torching the victimhood, and ripping apart the sanitized fairy tale of the Sussexes. This wasn't commentary. It was cultural war.
As a justification for the fact that she isn't liked by the majority of people is a cop-out. It's not the case.
Tate opened with the big red button, race. According to him, Meghan Markle isn't hated because of her skin color. She's hated because she's manipulative. She's lighter than me, he snapped. And I've never cried about racism. In Tate's eyes, the idea that Meghan faced unbearable prejudice in the UK is laughable. The Prime Minister is darker than her. The Mayor of London is darker than her. He's darker than her. So what exactly is she talking about?
Or any kind of racism in day-to-day life. She's less dark-skinned than me, and I certainly haven't suffered from any racism. So I don't think race has anything to do with it. I think she's just a dislikable person.
To Tate, Meghan exploited identity politics to build an immunity shield. If you criticize her, you're racist. If you question her, you're oppressive. It's a narrative soaked in victimhood, but designed for domination. Tate doesn't just question it, he bulldozes it. He calls it dishonest, dangerous, and disrespectful to people who've actually faced real bigotry. In his world, Meghan's not a victim. She's a strategist.
I'm not worried about that. I refuse to live in an absolute fantasy, and people are dodging around the true issue. I'm a person of color myself, but I don't think that's why I'm in.
If Meghan's the architect, Harry's the blueprint. Once a beloved rogue prince, Tate says Harry is now a walking meme, a cautionary tale of what happens when a man trades legacy for likes. He was a prince, Tate said coldly. Now he's a punchline. This isn't just about status. It's about emasculation. Harry went from combat zones to confessional podcasts, from military grit to Montecito yoga mats. Tate paints him as a man hollowed out, stripped of edge, power, and identity. Not because he fell in love, but because he fell in line. And according to Tate, he chose it.
Day by day. You wouldn't be human if you didn't evolve on an hour-by-hour basis. But I do not think I'm a force for good. I absolutely not really know I'm a force for good because I'm a force for truth. And truth is a good thing.
But this isn't just a royal takedown. Tate zooms out. To him, Harry and Meghan are symptoms of a much bigger illness, a world that punishes strength and rewards weakness, where stoicism is called toxic and accountability is replaced by curated trauma. Tate doesn't hide it. He believes masculinity is under siege, that men are being told to cry more and lead less. And Harry? He's the poster boy. A man who once carried the legacy of Diana, now reduced to therapy reels and brand-friendly breakdowns. And Tate? He sees himself as the resistance, the anti-Harry.
We're going to end up in absolute tyranny and slavery, and we're already on our way there. I feel like we're starting to combat it. My cancellation was the beginning of a change in public consciousness.
A throwback to an era where men didn't apologize for being strong and didn't need a Netflix deal to find their voice. Harry wasn't just a royal. He was a symbol of strength, rebellion, legacy. A boy who marched behind his mother's coffin, then flew helicopters in Afghanistan. For a while, he carried a quiet sort of dignity, a modern echo of duty in a changing world. But in Tate's eyes, that version of Harry didn't vanish overnight. He eroded. With every Netflix therapy session, every public grievance aired, every soundbite about trauma, the edge dulled. And soon, the prince without a crown became a man without a mission.
And anybody who stands up and speaks what they truly believe, even if it's something I don't personally agree with, I think that truth is absolutely important.
Here's where it gets brutal. Tate calls Meghan a brand, not a person. Not a duchess, but a marketer of misery. One minute she's a royal, next she's a lifestyle influencer, then suddenly she's selling jam jars under a domestic goddess label. To Tate, every scandal is a business opportunity. Every tear is a PR move. Every conflict, from the firm to Spotify, is just material for her next rebrand. He doesn't see pain, he sees strategy. And her product isn't truth, it's perception.
Society, by every metric you can possibly measure it, is absolutely and utterly failing. The cost of living crisis, the crime rates, everything is falling apart.
Meghan didn't join the royal family to serve, he argues. She joined to leverage, to take the prestige, burn the bridge, and rebuild herself as a global icon of curated victimhood. And the world? They bought it. Now here's the twist Tate drops like a sledgehammer. Meghan didn't ruin Harry. Harry let it happen. In Tate's view, Harry wasn't dragged. He volunteered. He walked away from his family, his duty, his nation. Not for love, for image, for relevance. He traded palaces for podcasts, legacy for sympathy. This isn't a kidnapping, it's a surrender. And the cost isn't just his crown, it's his soul. He's become a symbol of everything the modern world rewards. Compliance, softness, self-exposure. And Tate says, that should terrify us.
It's into one of your bigger narratives, doesn't it? Which is that you're very worried that men today seem to be embracing the idea of being victims.
For a moment, it worked. Meghan and Harry were Hollywood royalty. Oprah gave them a seat. Netflix gave them millions. Spotify handed them a mic. But fairy tales fade fast in LA. Their docuseries bombed. Their podcast deal collapsed. Meghan's rebrand fizzled. And now the world that once cheered their escape is starting to roll its eyes. Enough already.
Watch on. And you're a full-grown man. You're a full-grown adult. When's the last time there's been a serious problem in your life that you completely ignored and it fixed itself? Never, ever. What are any of our politicians doing?
Hollywood loves a cause, but only for a season. And now Harry? He's just another ex-royal trying to stay relevant. Lost between worlds. Too royal for Hollywood, too Hollywood for the royals. No matter how glossy the contracts or curated the interviews, something about Harry never quite fit the LA mold. Behind the smiles and polished sound bites, there's a haunting undertone. A man far from home, cut off from his roots, forever trying to prove he made the right decision. But the British stiff upper lip doesn't translate in Hollywood.
The reasons that you are a resilient human being is because you have lived through trauma, but that trauma actually propelled you to success rather than...
Vulnerability might sell podcasts, but it doesn't build respect, not in the long run. Tate wasn't just criticizing Meghan. He was tapping into something bigger. A growing unease with a world where perception outweighs truth. And questioning the narrative is treated like a crime. He sees Meghan not as an isolated case, but as a symbol of how quickly public image can be curated, monetized, and protected beyond criticism. To Tate, Meghan isn't just an outlier. She's the prototype. The new celebrity isn't defined by talent or service, but by curation, emotional spectacle, a telegenic backstory, a brand built on hardship, real or embellished, and sold in glossy packages to a public too polite to question. Meghan didn't invent the formula, but she perfected it. And in doing so, she exposed just how hungry the culture is for stories that feel real, even when they aren't.
victimhood.
Yeah, the baseline of masculinity is that bad things are going to happen to you, and you're going to absorb them, and you're going to use them and to grow into a more competent individual.
She's the influencer who turned every headline into currency, who made victimhood fashionable, who figured out the one trick that rules the game: be uncriticizable, be untouchable. Wrap yourself in identity politics and dare the world to question you. According to Tate, Meghan didn't just rewrite her story. She erased the truth and replaced it with a brand. And Harry, he helped. And maybe that's the real danger. Not Meghan, not even Harry, but a society that rewards the curated over the authentic, that cheers when tradition is burned down, but grows quiet when the replacement is hollow. Because once the cameras stop and the applause fades, what's left? So here's the real debate. Did Meghan manipulate Harry? Or did Harry walk away from himself? Was this the fall of a prince or the rise of a brand? Andrew Tate didn't hold back. He said what millions were thinking, what most would only dare whisper. But now, it's your turn. Did Harry lose his legacy or rewrite it? Let us know what you think below.